everybody, today I'm going to be doing another hashtag finale talk and I'm going to be telling you all about the Once Upon a Time Season 5B finale. Once Upon a Time is honestly just one of my favourite shows because they have this really unique way of pulling all these old fairy tales and myths and legends that we know and love and twisting them and reimagining them into something new. Season 5 did just that, as in the beginning of the season we were treated to the Arthurian legend, which they twisted and made their own, and then in the second half of the season we were taken to the underworld and brought up against Hades. The finale was full of exciting moments, new villains, returning villains, and took us on a quest that would change Storybrooke forever. Since I'm going to be talking about the finale episode, you can probably guess that this video will have spoilers to all of Season 5. So be warned, if you haven't yet seen this show, you will get massive spoilers from watching this video. So do yourselves a favour, go and watch this incredible show, then come back and join us in this beautiful discussion of what went down in the finale. Before we talk about the finale though, we of course have to talk about the episode beforehand. This episode was sort of what kicked off everything, as it showed the defeat of Hades and also showed the loss of our beautiful, beautiful Robin Hood. I won't lie, I cried for like an hour when Robin died because I was so not okay with that happening. I mean, I normally defend the writers on absolutely everything they do because I think they are brilliant creative geniuses, but this was one thing where I was just sort of like, you need to do something really, really big in the finale to convince me that this was the right move to do. And luckily, they did just that. The episode begins with Mr. Gold tethering all of Storybrooke's magic to the Olympian crystal, which sends Henry and his new girlfriend Violet, cute, off on this beautiful, magical, wonderful adventure to actually destroy magic. Emma and Regina obviously go after him as they know that Mr. Gold is going to be doing the same. They learn that the teens are in New York and they rush out to Robin's, once Neil's, old apartment, which is still there for some unknown reason. Whilst there, Regina discovers a letter written to her from Robin Hood, cue the tears, which sort of was really cute, and I lost my train of thought because now I'm thinking about Robin and Regina. She also reveals to Emma that she believes that because the evil queen is still inside her, she's sort of destined to suffer for all eternity, or at least until she dies, which I'm really hoping is no time soon because Regina is the best. While all of this is going on outside of Storybrooke, inside of Storybrooke we've got Snow, David, Hook and Selena. Hook of course is back thanks to the almighty Zeus who restored him from the underworld. Thank you for that, Zeus. They decide they need to send Merida, the people of Camelot and the merry men back home. I cried a lot when Roland just sort of like pulls out this little feather thing and it's like, please give this to Gina, and I'm like, can you not please? I can't deal with this right now. I had just gotten over thinking about Robin and then they go and do this and I'm like, I'm done. Unfortunately, nothing ever goes right for our heroes and they end up being pulled through the portal themselves and end up in the land of untold stories. From there, things get a little bit crazy. Basically, Mr. Gold finds the teens, takes back the Olympian crystal before he loses Belle through a portal which was created by Mr. Hyde from the land of untold stories. That's right, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are coming to Storybrooke, which would have a lot more impact if I knew who Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde actually were. Henry succeeds in destroying magic and then immediately regrets it when he figures out that almost his entire family is lost in the land of untold stories and without magic there's no way of getting them back. He manages to rally many New Yorkers into believing in magic, at least for a short while, and is able to open up a portal that gets his family home. It works, but unfortunately Mr. Gold manages to slip through the portal and he goes to the land of untold stories where he makes a deal with Mr. Hyde. Regina uses Dr. Jekyll's separating serum thing and separates herself from the evil queen and manages to crush her heart, seemingly destroying her forever. Unfortunately, when the gang gets back to Storybrooke, they find Mr. Hyde waiting for them as Mr. Gold has given him Storybrooke in exchange for something we don't yet know what. My guess is probably Belle. As if that wasn't bad enough, it turns out the evil queen is still alive and kicking. I loved this episode. I was super worried after seeing what happened in episode 21 that they wouldn't be able to come back from that, but honestly, this episode really brought the show back to its roots, and because of that, it is probably one of my favourite finales of all time. The thing that really stood out for me though is how much focus they put on Regina. Her struggle with the evil queen has always been amazing to see, and I was actually in tears during the scene between her and Emma in Neil/Robin's old apartment. Lana Priya is just so incredible in what she does, and to be able to see her play vulnerable Regina and evil queen Regina is really refreshing and awesome. I cannot wait to see that continue on into the next season. For me, the dynamics for this episode were just so different from anything they've actually done before. Much of the episode actually took place outside of Storybrooke, which was really refreshing to see, although sometimes that doesn't exactly work well for them. Obviously, the Neverland storyline being one that comes to mind. That storyline was terrible. I'm sorry guys, it just was. So most of the episode took place outside of Storybrooke, and while it appeared to follow 3 distinct storylines, in reality it was really only following the one since everything has sort of ended up in the same place. I'm a little bit upset though that Henry's destruction of magic only lasted for a short while because it would have been really interesting to see what they did with that. But then again, I guess this show is kind of all about magic, so to have a show know about magic without magic probably would have been very difficult to do. Honestly though, the best thing this show could have done for itself was to bring it back to its roots and have the big bad for season 6 be the evil queen. The show was at its best when Regina was the evil one, and now that they've sort of brought the show back full circle and have the evil queen there, but also still have Regina finishing off her redemption arc, is just beyond perfect, and I just love it so much. Not to mention it means we get to see Lana slay as the evil queen every week, and I am totally down for that. After watching the episode, however, I definitely still have questions, all of which I'm hoping they answer during season 6. Question number 1. Who is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? I literally have no idea who these people are, and right before I watched the episode, I'd seen something that they were going to be in it, so I said to my dad, I'm like, Dad, who are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? And he's like, oh, you know, they're this doctor person who's like the same person. And I was like, but there's 2 actors playing them, how does that work? Needless to say, I've since downloaded The Curious Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde onto my Kindle, and I will be reading that before the show returns for season 6. Question number 2 is actually more of a statement. Violet's dad is from Connecticut. Okay, no, just no. That was a super lame reason for Violet to stay in Storybook. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Violet and Henry are like super adorable together. I mean, that kiss was just like, that kiss was great because they just kissed, and then you sort of have Emma and Regina in the background. Emma's just sort of like, yeah, well, you know, he's a kid, that's what he does. And Regina's just like, not my son. It was pretty funny. It was like Battle of the Mums. Wait, what was I talking about? Right, I'm super happy that Henry now has a girlfriend, but I feel like they definitely could have come up with a different reason for her to stay in Storybrooke. Question number 3. What exactly was the deal that Mr. Gold made with Mr. Hyde? I'm assuming, of course, that it had something to do with getting Belle back and, you know, waking her up, considering no one seems to be able to do that because Gold and her are no longer true loves, which I didn't think was possible, and her dad is being a total douche about it. So hopefully we find out pretty early on in season 6, because I'm pretty sure the only reason they did that was because Emily was pregnant, but now she's had her baby, little Vera, who is so cute. It's so adorable. I'm really hoping that Belle comes back in season 6 because I really love Belle. She's really great. And question number 4, who pays the rent on that darn New York apartment? I mean, seriously, it cannot be cheap to have an apartment literally in the middle of Manhattan, especially one that nobody actually lives in. But somehow the apartment is just kind of always there when they need somewhere to go in New York. It's like, oh, let's just go to Neil's apartment. And it's like, but Neil has been dead for like 3 seasons, and then Robin's like not in New York anymore. And why is that apartment still there? Do they have like an automatic account set up? Have they just magicked people to think they keep paying rent? I need to know. This is normally the part of my finale talk video where I would theorize what's going to happen next season, but considering I know absolutely nothing about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I'm going to give this part a miss this time. All I will say about it though is that I think the theme for next season is definitely going to be good versus evil, considering the evil queen is literally split from Regina now, so it's like literal personifications of good and evil. It's going to be so good though if Regina has to battle herself, like so good. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the Once Upon a Time season 5 finale and what you think is going to happen in season 6. Be sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.